Hi guys, and welcome back to LPB Racing for the WEC Replica Championship on Project Cars 2. This is race 2 at Nürburgring GP circuit. We have swapped round the classes now, so it is Footman on pole in the LMP1, and in GTE it is Callum on pole in the Ford GT. As we get ready for a start here, so Footman on pole, everyone a bit not in line really. Growler's not going through the grid markings, neither is everyone else, but Arzadar is a little lurch forward there, and then we're away. Off we go. Arzadar gets a brilliant start there. I wonder if that was a jump start or not, but Arzadar gets a good start. We're almost 4 wide in the middle with the LMPs. Incredible. Down towards the next corner as we all go through nicely. Keith gets contact with Blakeney, and Arzadar gets hit and then bang in the air and on his roof. Incredible. So Arzadar's on his roof then as the GTE boys come through. There's Stevie in second place now. Bidzster's gone backwards a little bit there. Stacker's up amongst those as well. So all happened at turn 1. But again, we'll get some replays in after this first lap action. So off we go down towards the next series of corners. Footman in the lead from Growley there. Then it's Blakeney from Bradders, and then Keith, who remember Bradders his first time in the LMP1 car, not had much practice. As all locks up a brake there, so running no ABS. And then we've got the GTE boys coming through here. We've got Callum going through, and then we've got Stacker going through in the LMP car there. Down towards the next corner, I think Keith and Bradders are having a bit of a tussle here, and I think they're almost coming together, but very close. But Bradders still ahead. And we look at Stevie in 8th place. Stacker goes through past Callum to catch up with his fellow compatriots in his class, as Arzadar's coming through the field now from that incident at the first corner. There goes Arzadar Blade, he's in the blue Marek there, he's about to pass Stevie in a minute. As he goes into this corner, gets a bit carried away with himself, runs a bit wide, but gets away with it, and then he's going to pass Stevie on the straight now. So as we go down towards the next chicane, we've got Bradders in 4th, Keith in 5th, so we've got to watch out for this here. On to the brakes, into the chicane. Bradders makes the corner quite nicely there. Let's look at Arzadar Blade coming through in the LMP car. Nicely through there, and then we look at Bidzster in the Porsche. He's trying to catch up to his classmates, so he's gone right back down on that first lap. So quite an interesting first lap there then. Quite close between everyone. So we'll get those replays of that first corner action in now. Okay, here's the replay of the start then. So we're looking at Arzadar Blade this time. So into the first corner we go. Then we all brake, so then you'll see ahead. Keith hits Blakeney a little bit. There's a little bit of contact, and they both come across. Bang! Hit Arzadar Blade, and then it puts him on his roof. But luckily he was able to reset once all the other cars had gone past him, and then he got on his way. Okay, let's have a look at that now from on board with Arzadar and see what actually happens. Let's join the roller coaster. So you see here, Keith goes into the corner, slightly taps Blakeney, there's a bit of contact, and they both come across, bang, hit us, and then we end up on his roof. And then can't do anything, revs up, and then we end up pressing reset, and then get back going again. So as we come back from that then, Footman is your leader. There he is in the green RWD, so he leads the race at the minute from Growley Bear in 2nd position in the other RWD. So RWD 1-2 here. Then we've got Blakeney Toyota in 3rd place. Then we've got Bradders and Keith in the 2 Audis. Remember, they're not teammates, so Bradders independent and Keith is teammates with James Deluxe, who unfortunately is not able to make a few races at the minute, but hopefully be back soon. And then Stacker is now on the back of this bunch here. So Joe Bradders goes off the track there and goes wide. Keith goes up the inside there and straight through. A little bit of contact but gets through. And now it's Stacker's turn to try and have a go as we come down the hill. The 2 Audis pull ahead as Stacker backs off a bit there. Keith nicely into that corner there. Bradders a bit wide. Stacker goes up the inside but can't quite get through. Will he use the power of the Toyota at the corner? But no, the Audi gets a good run. And as we go through here, oh, Bradders is off the road onto the gravel, and that's going to let Stacker go through. Bradders goes off, and Stacker takes 5th place in class. As we look back at the GTE boys, we've got Callum in the lead from Stevie, TY, and then Bidzster right on the back of TY here. So a nice little scrap in the GTE class as we go through up to the S's. So into the left, and then into the right. Bidzster right behind TY here. So Bidzster looking for a way through. He's got some good cornering speed in that Porsche, but the Aston will pull away on the straight as they go up towards the next chicane. So have a look at Stacker and co. They're okay there. Arzadar Blade catching up to the back of Bradders and going off onto the gravel there, getting a bit carried away with himself. As TY with Bidzster right behind him in that Porsche, still pressing hard, both tooth and nail here here out of the last corner and onto the straight. TY will pull away a bit here, so this is a classic TY Bidzster battle here. But it's just a question of time of how long TY can stay in front, I think, because TY in that Aston Martin, obviously that Aston Martin not a very good handling car at all. It's very sensitive with all the inputs, and the back end it's like it's on ice sometimes, but TY doing exceptionally well to keep the position he's in at the minute, so well done to TY. As we've got Stevie slightly catching up to Callum as well. There's Stevie in the second Ford GT, the green one, the Pin Electron one, and he's catching up to Callum slowly as we've got TY coming out that corner there with Bidzster behind him, so still a nice close battle there. I'm just looking at the timing screen to see if there's any other battles on track. We'll just have a quick glance at RZR Blade, who's in front of Bradders now, so Bradders further back in 7th place in class, so last in class for Bradders at the minute. But we'll see how that goes as we now look back to the TY Bidzster battle here, going up towards the Schumacher S. Oh, TY runs a bit wide onto the gravel and almost loses at the back end. Woohoo! Close stuff there from TY as we go into the S's, into the left and then into the right. Bidzster will get a good run through here. The Porsche very good through this section, as you can see him closing up. Then he has to tap the brakes mid-corner because he thinks he's going to run into the back of TY. As we go down the straight, Bidzster in the draft but still not able to do anything yet. Stevie closing up to Callum as well. As we look at that, Bidzster does catch up, but look at Stevie, he's right behind Callum now, so not far in it at the minute. As you look back at LMP1, I'm just going to have a little look at LMP1 now, so there's Stacker in 5th, and then RZR's only 3 seconds behind, so not too much of a gap. As RZR Blade gets a bit weird, oh, he goes off track there, that's a definite track limits that, but I think he were a bit narrow into the apex, but still that doesn't matter, that's the track limits, and I'm not sure if he lifted because the gap to Stacker still remained the same. So we'll have to see how that goes as TY and Bidzster then still close together as they exit the sort of stadium section and then out onto the back. Bidzster closes right up to the back of TY here. TY in full on defence mode now, and so's Callum because Stevie's right behind him. So TY's lost it. Don't know if there was contact there or not, but TY loses the back of the car and goes back down. Bidzster ahead. So we'll just get a quick replay on that. As we come back from that replay then, as we look when the camera adjusts itself, there we go, Callum and Stevie now, the two Ford GTs battling up front in the GTE class as we go through the Schumacher S, more or less flat for these guys, just a little lift, same with the LMP cars, just a little feather of lift through there just to stabilise the car, and now into the S's. Callum ahead of Stevie, but Stevie went a bit wide there on the curb, but again using all the track. Callum a bit wide there, but again both doing very well here. Bidzster in the background flashing his light saying I'm on my way boys, get a move on otherwise I'm going to get you. Neil at the back in the GT class in the Corvette, but again he might be at the back, but it's only probably about 8 seconds from front to back. So from the first position to last position in the GT, not much between it. So Callum goes through there with Stevie behind him. Again, quite close there. As we go down the straight, less than 0.3 of a second separate them down the straight. Will Stevie go for a move into the first corner? I don't think he's going to be close enough. No, he closes up under the brakes, but he can't get through there. Callum maintains the lead so far as he goes a little bit wide out the corner, which will compromise him on the exit of this next one. But Stevie can't get close enough to make a move yet anyway, as we just have a quick look at Blakeney in 3rd place in the LMP1. He's being slowly caught by Keith in the Audi, so Keith doing very well in that diesel Audi e-tron, so well done to Keith. We'll have to see if he closes up over the next couple of laps as we look at Callum and Stevie still, which is the main battle on track at the minute in the GTE class. Through down the hill, the little complex section down the hill, and then down the hill towards the Dunlop hairpin. A long radius right-hander with quite a bank into it, into the corner. Nice lines there from both drivers there, and then up and out, and then quick fire it up through the Schumacher S and down towards the S's then. As Bidzster's not really closing up to these lot yet. There's still a bit of a gap. As we have a little look at Keith and Blakeney. So Blakeney's now gone down to within a second of Keith. So Blakeney losing out to Keith here. Keith on the move. 1 second behind him. You'll see it in the next shot how close he is. There he is. There's Blakeney and there's Keith. So again, that is getting closer and closer as Blakeney makes a little mistake there and goes off. That's going to compromise him as well. And now Keith is within that second, so we'll go back to that shortly. It's Callum and Stevie now, side by side. So Callum must have made a little mistake out of the chicane. As we go to this battle, Stevie and Callum then side by side down the start-finish straight, absolutely together over the line. Down towards the first corner, Stevie's got the inside, but will Callum be able to outbrake him? We'll have to see as they both hit the brakes. Stevie gets ahead in the braking zone and goes ahead. So Stevie takes the lead in the GTE class. So in Division A, Stevie is in the lead. Callum back down a second in class, 9th overall. Bidzster now closing up because they're battling. That's allowed Bidzster to get even closer. So he's within a second of these two now. As we look at Bidzster there, pushing on. There's TY in the Aston Martin still pushing on as well. And there's Neil. He's not really far off this group, so one major mistake could see him gain positions. Let's look at Blakeney then in third, Keith in fourth. Still a nice gap between them. Footman in the lead. He's got 14 seconds over the guy behind, and he's in the mix of the traffic now. He's lapping the GTE boys, so very close indeed there. So as we go into the Dunlop hairpin, Stevie there goes through Callum and then Bidzster. So Bidzster has closed up to these boys here, because they did slow each other up a bit. As we look at Keith and Blakeney then, Keith and Blakeney still within a second of each other into the stadium. And they're going to go out to the stadium here. Oh, Keith runs a bit wide there. That's going to compromise his line, but so does Blakeney. Blakeney goes wide as well off the track. But again, I think both compromise the lines there, and there's not really any changing gaps, so that's fine. There will not be any track limit advantage there. As we go down the hill, Blakeney runs a bit wide there again as Keith closes up now. Both cars very close to each other. Will Keith go for a move here into the Dunlop hairpin? Is he going to have a go? But Blakeney's not going to give up lightly as they both go on that corner, and Blakeney goes a bit wider and gets a good line out. So it's not over yet. And Stevie and Callum still maintain position in the GT ranks, and there's Bidzster still closing up behind them. So we'll go back to Keith and Blakeney here. So Blakeney into the left-hander of the S's, and then the right, which leads on to the straight. Onto the straight we go, so that's where the Toyota's going to come in with a bit of extra power. Pull ahead of Keith a little bit, and then Keith will close in the braking zone, but he's in the draft as well, don't forget. So into the braking zone we go for the chicane. Blakeney onto the brakes, into the corner very nicely through there, and so does Keith, who the camera tries to catch up with him. There we go. Into the last corner. And out of it, so again the gap maintaining itself now. As you look back at the GT battle, Stevie and Callum still the same gap from Bidzster as well, so just settling down in this race a little bit now. So don't forget, lap 8 is when the pit window opens, so the LMP1 pit window is now open because Footman is on lap 8. So everyone that's on lap 8 now in LMP1 will have their pit window open, and GTEs will be the next lap. So Footman could pit anytime soon, as Growly Bears looks like he's just passed Neil on the grass, so didn't know RWD did a rallycross version of the LMP1, but apparently they do. So Growly Bear in second place still, chasing after Footman, but again, bit of a lonely race for Growly Bear so far, as Blakeney and Keith are still battling at it, hammer and tongs. Fourth and third, so 0.3 of a second then between these two, as you can see it there. Blakeney goes a bit wide there, but so does Keith as they go up towards the Schumacher S. Again, one mistake could change the positions round. As we look through here, all nicely through there. As we look at Stacker then, back in 5th, he's been caught by Azadar Blade as we go through here. So through the Dunlop hairpin we go. He's run a bit wide there. He's run wide. He's going to crash in front of Azadar, and there's contact. Wow, contact there. And Stacker just for some reason slows up to let Azadar through when it wasn't Azadar's fault, but it wasn't anyone's fault really. It was just Stacker made his own mistake. Azadar wrong place, wrong time. If that were me, I'd have just been going, and it's racing instant. It happens, and there were no sort of gain of position or loss or whatever. So. But yeah, Stacker gives Azadar a nice easy present there, and goes through, so I don't think Azdar will be complaining about that, but yeah, Stacker making it a bit too easy for his opponents by the look of it. As we go into the chicane, both cars still very close here. Into the chicane we go. I wonder if anyone's going to pit this lap as Azdar goes, oh sorry, Stacker goes straight past Azdar out the corner, bang, straight through. Wow. Straight through we go, and then Azdar he's actually gone off, he's gone round, bless him, he's gone round, he's reset the car, there we go. Rather than being in the middle of the track, sensible stuff, resets the car and off he goes. So there wasn't any contact there, Azdar just got caught out by the speed of the Toyota at the corner, and Azdar goes round. So that's what happened there. As we look at the GT battle, as Callum's gone backwards. Callum's gone backwards, Stevie takes the lead and Bidzster's gone through as well. So we'll get some replays on that. Okay, here's a replay of how Callum lost second place. So into the braking zone, he gets a bit slide it, and then so Stevie loses it. Callum has to do braking avoidance, and then Bidzster goes straight over the curb and straight through into second. So as we come back from them replays, it is Stevie from Bidzster and then Callum, now with TY all over his back in the Aston Martin. So GTE battle very close, all four cars in that group within probably about 3 seconds of each other. Absolutely brilliant, as Bidzster now flashing his lights at Stevie saying, I'm on my way to get you, sunshine, get a move on. I want to put my Porsche badge on the back of that Ford. As we go into the chicane we go, as hopping the curbs, Bidzster hops the curbs, it's very touring car-esque style, and then we've got TY right behind Callum as well. So we've got a car off in the background. Who's that? We've got a car off in the background that looks like LMP1 of some sort. I've just got to go through the cameras here, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologise for some weird viewing, as it was Blakeney, I think. Was it Blakeney or was it it was a GT car? Blakeney's in the pitch, but it was a GT car. Callum went off. So Callum went off there. Again, more replays are needed. Okay, here's a replay of how Callum lost it then from on board with TY. So breaking into the chicane, we're very close to the back of Callum, but no contact. Then Callum gets on the power over that curve and then just loses the back of the car, and then round he goes into the gravel. So as we come back from that then, we'll have a look at what Stacker's doing. He's in 5th place, he's a bit on his own now. And then into the chicane we go. So I wonder if Stacker's going to pit this lap. There's a few others that have in LMP1. I wonder if this is going to be the lap where everyone pits. No, Stacker's going round again. And then, oh, what's he doing? Oh, whoa, cheeky move. He's not, oh, that is not against the, that's against the rules, that is, oh dear. So he cuts into the pit lane at the very last minute, and he's supposed to actually go into the pit lane entrance, was about another 50 metres before the corner. But he decides, oh no, last minute call, straight into the pits. But they were a bit dangerous, that, so I would imagine he'd receive a warning of some sort for that. But anyhow, no one got took out in it, so all's well that ends well. As Blakeney then comes out the pits. He's out the pits in 5th place, and we've got Callum coming out the pits as well. There he is, and another Toyota, and then we've got the other Toyota of Stacker who's just come into the pits, the very cheeky Stacker that's just come into the pits. So all a bit up in the air at the minute with the positions. So Footman definitely still in the lead, Growly Bear in 2nd place, and then we've got Keith in 3rd, who's just lapping the GTE boys of Stevie and Bidzster. So slaps Bidzster and then laps Stevie there. Stevie gives him a nice bit of room there on the inside, even though the GTs aren't really supposed to do that. It was just easy enough anyway. And now Keith locks up, and he's now going to get passed by a GT if he's not careful. Get his foot down, off he goes. So Keith gets his foot down and keeps going round. So almost got caught out by the GT boys there, but close but no cigar. We've got Azdar Blade in 4th place then, but remember he's not pitted yet. Blakeney has, and he's 5th place. So at the minute, Keith's still circulating as well, but Keith, I think Keith's pitted, I don't know. But again, after lap 16 it'll all become clear, because that's the pit window for these boys. So lap 8 to 16, as we look back at the GT battle then. So it's still Bidzster and Stevie quite close together here as we go out of this section here. Bidzster hopping the curb there, keeping behind Stevie, but not able to get close enough to make a move as such. TY's dropped back a little bit there in 10th position. Neil in the pit lane now, so Neil is in the pits. Callum is coming through, a very zoomed in camera there. Callum's coming up to the chicane now, so I think Neil will probably get out ahead of Callum, because Callum did have a major mistake the other lap, remember? So Callum making a mistake and probably cost him a position. As we look down the straight, there's Neil, there's Callum just coming out the last corner at the top of your picture there. So Callum is now last in class. Neil was last in class and now goes up to second to last. So Neil in 4th in class then. Then we've got Bidzster and Stevie still battling it out for position here. Still very close between these two as we go through here onto the straight. This is where the Porsche closes up a bit, but in the mid corner. But then the Ford gets a good run onto the straight, and they're both in each other's draft down the straight. But the Ford GT just pulls away from that Porsche. Just got such good power and good aerodynamics as well. And into the chicane we go, hopping the curbs and out of it. That's where Bidzster will close up a bit in the Porsche. There's no one else pitting in the GTEs just yet. So GTE, Stevie, Bidzster and TY, the last ones to pit in GTE, and they've not pitted yet. So Footman definitely not pitted yet. I think Keith's been in. Growley must have been in. Yeah, Growley's in. So Growley's in the pit lane. Keith goes into second place. So Keith's been putting in some good laps here. But again, I'm not 100% sure if Keith's pitted or not. So we'll get that confirmed later on for you guys. As Arzadar Blade then in 4th place in class so far, and Blakeney in 5th. So again, that'll all be reconfirmed for you at the end of lap 16, because then we'll definitely know who's going to be where. Because I've sort of lost track halfway through all this, so I do apologise, but it does get a bit confusing as Bidzster and Stevie then both come out of the stadium section. TY still 2 seconds back. And down here we've got Growly Bear approaching TY in the background to lap him, as Bidzster and Stevie still close together down through the S's and up on the curb for Bidzster there, and then into the draft. Down towards Dunlop hairpin as we've got Growly passing TY there in the background. So we've got an LMP1 closing on these boys now. Into the hairpin we go. Still maintaining the gap. Growly Bear getting ever closer. Stevie almost running into the gravel there, but not quite. Growly's going to be sensible here. Just keep it backed off and then get past in his own time. There's not too much rush. And now he should be able to get past Bidzster if he wants to here. He's going to... Oh no, he's not. He's going to wait behind because he didn't think he couldn't get past enough. He might not have had any hybrid left. So, because without hybrid, those LMP1s are probably only just a little bit more powerful than these GTEs. So, and here he goes, bit of hybrid power stored up, and power's straight past them both before they get to that next corner. So, good stuff there from Growly Bear. Straight through past Stevie and Bidzster, we're still battling out for position. I wonder when this lot are going to pit, as Bidzster goes over the curbs there, bang, bang, over the curb, as closes right up to Stevie. Right up to the back of Stevie there, Stevie into defensive mode then, so Bidzster finally close enough to get a few stabs in at Stevie. But again, they don't want to battle too hard, otherwise Neil and Callum will come right up on him after the pit stops. But still, again, it's a race. They want to battle for position. Stevie's defending. Bidzster looking to the inside and then doesn't bother, and then goes to the outside. Brakes on the curb. Very risky stuff. Right round the outside of Stevie here. He's going to try and go around the outside and get the inside for the next corner. I think he is. Up the inside for the next corner. Stevie gives him an absolute acre of room. And then down towards the next corner. Bidzster still on the inside here. Into the corner we go. He's drifting that Porsche round. Oh, almost loses the back end. Good recovery there and a good avoidance by Stevie as well. So Bidzster really pushing hard there, just on the limit of grip. And that look who's closed in now. It's TY. So both cars battling it out, and that'll be good news for Neil and Callum behind if they can put in some nice consistent laps as we go through the S's down to the bottom. Again, I'm focusing on this GT battle because it's the main one on track at the minute, but I'm just going to have a quick switch to Blakeney, who is ahead of Keith. But again, Keith hopefully might be able to catch him near the end. I thought that was a bit close. It looked, it was Arzadar and Keith that I saw that was close. So Arzadar and Keith, they're still battling out for position as well. And then we've got Stevie here in GTE. We've got Footman approaching as well. TY goes off in the background and almost spins the Aston. And then Footman tries to go through, but he's going to wait for the straight. Sensible stuff. Saved up some hybrid. He's got plenty of gappers. Stevie makes a mistake there and Bidzster goes straight through. Stevie slides the rear of that Ford GT out and Bidzster goes straight through. No other invitation required. And then Footman now is going to power past them all. Well, he's got past the first two and now he's going to get past Bidzster before the next corner. As the camera pans, we can't really see anything. As you go towards the chicane, just get rid of that so you can see. As Footman just about gets ahead of Bidzster into the chicane. Close stuff there. And then as they power out of this corner here, so Stevie's going into the pits then. Stevie decides now's the time to pit. So Stevie into the pit lane there. That's a very fast entrance to the pit. So I think people need to learn to slow down a bit more for that pit lane line. But yep, Stevie into the pit lane then. As Bidzster goes through with TY following behind. So Bidzster's got to put in a decent in lap here with TY to see if they can actually gain some positions here. So sliding from from Bidzster there as they look at Blakeney is two seconds ahead of Keith, who's this man here in that same camera shot. Arzadar Blade's gone back a little bit so from Keith, so Arzadar making a few mistakes there. Stacker, the ever generous Stacker, goes through in 6th place. So Stacker on his own then at further back, so having a nice race all by himself. As we look back to Bidzster and TY then, both sliding their cars around here. I think the tyres have just about had enough. And I think they'll probably come in this lap to respond to Stevie and Callum. So where's Stevie come out the pits then? Let's have a look. Stevie's coming down the pit lane. There's Neil in the background, just coming down the straight. So Stevie definitely rejoins in 10th place then. So Neil's not managed to put in some decent enough laps to actually get closer. So Stevie retains the theoretical lead in the class after the pit stops, but we'll see. As Bidzster's made a huge mistake there. And then both LMP1 cars go past. That's Blake and Keith. We'll just have a quick look at their battle as well. So Keith's closed right up to the back of Blakeney. So Keith on the move here then. So Keith doing really well in this one. Obviously the Audi really suits Nürburgring. So German car, German track seems to suit the bill. As we go towards the chicane, will Keith go for a move here or will he stay on the behind? He's going to stay behind for now. Blake goes through the chicane, followed by Keith. Both go through there very nicely and accelerate away. Bidzster and TY, I would imagine, will hit this lap in GTE. Yes, they will. Bidzster is in, and so is TY. That's the correct pit entrance task. Not task. What am I about? Stacker. It's back there. So Bidzster and TY into the pits then. Stevie is coming through the Schumacher S. So this could be quite close. So we'll see what happens there later on as we have a look at Keith and Blakeney still. Half a second between it. Blakeney still in front of Keith. So the battle for 3rd place well and truly on. Again, so Footman is on lap 16 now and Footman is in. Footman's in for his pit stop, so last minute pit stop for Footman. This is the last lap he can possibly serve it. So Footman into the pits then. Following down the pit lane then as Growly Bear on lap 15. So sorry, Footman could have pitted at the end of this lap actually, so it's fine. So Footman comes out well and truly in the lead. 30 seconds ahead of Growly Bear and around the first corner and off on his way. And there's Growly Bear in 2nd place in class. And now let's have a quick look at the GTE boys. So we've got Stevie coming down the pit lane, Bidzster coming out the pit lane there. This is going to be tight. As Bidzster comes out the pit lane, then Bidzster's going to take the lead. And it's going to be close between TY and Stevie here. Stevie just takes the lead there. So, not the lead, sorry, 2nd place. So Stevie takes 2nd place then. And Bidzster takes the lead. So Stevie must have had a few little mistakes on his out lap as well, because obviously Bidzster and TY's in lap wasn't the cleanest, but so the GT positions as it stands at the minute then. Bidzster in the lead, Stevie in 2nd, TY 3rd, Neil in 4th and Callum in 5th. So all the GT boys have pitted and Footman is ahead in the LMP1. So I think all them have pitted so far. I think we'll just wait till the end of this lap and I'll give you a rundown of the order to confirm who's in what place. But so far it is Footman, Growly, Blakeney and Keith are still actually quite a close battle here. There's Keith behind in the Audi, behind Blakeney. So still quite a close battle on track between them two as we go down towards the first corner. Keith locks up the brakes slightly there but gets away with it as they go through that into the stadium section. This is where the Audi will be quite good. It loves these cornering sections as we've got a car off there. I think that's Callum. Yes it is. Callum spun the Ford GT, so Callum not having a good time after his pit stop, or even before it actually, he had a few moments before that. So Callum not having a good weekend this time. Hopefully a much better showing at Austin for him next week. So Callum rejoins there in 12th position, last position in class and also overall. As we look at Keith and Blakeney then, I think they're very close here. Yes, they are, they're side by side and Keith goes through. So Blakeney must have made a mistake there and he flashes lights. So I wonder if that was Blakeney letting him through or something. So we'll get a quick replay on that. Okay, here's a replay about Keith got past Blakeney then. So going into the S's, going down through the left, then breaking into the right. Blakeney goes a bit wide there, really wide onto the curb, onto the gravel. And then Keith says thank you very much and off he goes. So as we come back from that replay then, we just saw Blakeney going wide as we started that replay. So Blakeney back into 4th then, Keith takes 3rd position. So on to lap 17 then. So Footman is definitely in the lead of his class. Footman in the lead overall. Growly Bear is in 2nd. And we've got TY and Stevie very close together, and Growly doesn't not want to get involved in that fight. He wants to let them fight between them, and he'll get past when he can as Stevie defends from TY as Growly looking for a way through. So then it's going to be Keith third in class, then Blakeney, Stacker and Arzadar. That is the running in LMP1. As TY's lost the back end of the Aston. TY loses the back end of the Aston. Growly Bear goes through on the inside and sort of forces TY onto the outside. So not good stuff there by Growly, forcing the Aston Martin a bit wide. As Arzadar Blade now has got to get past Stevie, as Growly's already done it. But again, remember the GTEs get priority over the racing line, and now Arzadar will power past the Marek with the hybrid power and goes through in 6th place. So he's actually just been lapped by Growly Bear. He's been lapped by his fellow classmate. As Growly Bear now coming up to the back of Bidzster, who's in the lead of the GTE class by a bit of a gap now. So obviously he's got built up a good rhythm as Bidzster now out of the pits, built up a fresh rhythm, and he's ahead. So he's 6 seconds ahead of TY, who's second in class now from Stevie. So, oh, Stevie's gone backwards. Stevie, he's off. Stevie's off in the gravel. He's joined the cats in the kitty litter. So Stevie goes off. We'll get a replay on that. Okay, here's a replay of what happened to Stevie then. So he's coming into the Schumacher S, clips the curb there, slides the car. TY can't do anything to avoid him there, and then hits him into the wall. But again, there's nothing that TY could have done there because Stevie was already way sideways in his own mistake, and there's no way that TY could actually move out of the way there. So Stevie in his own incident, and then gets going out of the kit litter and rejoins the race. So as we come back from Stevie making a little bit more of a mess in the kit litter, so there's Callum in 12th place. So Callum's still circulating around, not a good race for him, but hopefully, like we said earlier, should be a better showing at Austin for him. So to run you through the official order then, on lap 18 with Footman. So Footman in the lead on lap 18, Growly Bear, who's just started lap 18 in 2nd place. Then we've got Keith in 3rd from Blakeney, who's not far behind him actually. Still a very close gap there, so I think anything could change here between Keith and Blakeney. So Keith's in a bit hot there, but again gets it stopped. And then it's Blakeney in 4th position, who's on the gravel. Blakeney in the gravel. Oh, he's across the track and he's off, and he's onto the grass and spins it round. So Blakeney definitely made an error there, and then he spins the car back round, and then he's spinning again. He's practically doing ballet, a little dance for the crowd. How embarrassing. But he goes over the top, starts rally crossing, and then goes across, hits a cone, hits some more gravel, and then gets on his way. So a bit of a long way around of doing things, but he got there in the end, so well done. And then Stacker in 5th place in class with the other Toyota, who will hopefully show us how to do this section. There we go, through the chicane and then up towards the last corner. And then brake for the last corner, through. And then nicely on the power onto the straight. And we've got Arzadar Blade, who's the last in the second to last in the LMP1 class. He's in 6th place. And then we've got Bradders last in the LMP1, but again Bradders is still getting used to things on here. So Bradders in 7th position. So the leader in the GTE class then, and 8th overall, is Bidzster. So Bidzster 7 seconds in front of TY now. He's just about to get lapped by Arzadar Blade. Just flashes his lights just to let Arzadar know he can pass. And flashes his lights again, saying no worries old chump, anytime, as they go into the chicane. So Bidzster 8th position overall, leading GTE. 2nd in GTE and 9th overall is TY in the Aston Martin, in the Gulf Aston Martin. So TY with a very good showing here in the Aston Martin. Again, it's a very hard car to handle, that car, but he's showing everyone how to do it. And then Neil in the Corvette. Again, a bit of a luck over bit of luck here for Neil Farmack due to others' misfortune. But again, he'll take the place when he can. So 10th place for Neil, 3rd in class. Then we've got Stevie in 11th, who's had a bit of a terrible few laps, to be honest. He's gone all the way from leading the class to 4th in class in the space of about 4 laps. So unlucky there for Stevie, and he goes across the line, and I can officially tell you that the GT pit window is now closed. And then Callum, who's 12th overall, 5th in class, having a horrible race here, and I think he just wants to get this one over with and get on a plane to Austin. So Callum circling around in 12th position overall. So as we go back to the Keith Blakeney battle, I think he's at Blakeney's a bit more further ahead. Sorry, that was someone else who was coming up to lap Keith. So he's ahead of Blakeney, sorry, because Blakeney had that little spin, obviously, yes, like I said earlier. Blakeney was, there he is, he was practising his ballet earlier before the last corner. But nicely goes through in 4th place, just ticking off the laps to go, being nice and consistent, and on about his business. So we've got Bidzster there, who's trying to find any decent battles on track for us to watch, guys. I think everyone's a bit more spread out at the minute, unfortunately. So it's just how racing goes sometimes. So let's have a little onboard treat then with TY, shall we? Let's go on board in the Aston Martin. I love this view, but unfortunately I'm not going to press any buttons and the view will disappear shortly. It's a shame that it doesn't lock onto this view, because it would be a really good view to use. Yeah, look, you see, it just goes to the bonnet view. So please, Slackman Studios, sort that out for Project Cars 3, because that is a killer of a view, but unfortunately we can't always look at it. So what we'll do is we'll fix it on the roof cam and we'll have a little onboard with TY for a little bit as we go up towards the last corner. The lovely sound of the V8 Vantage at Aston Martin out of this corner. We're about to get lapped by one of the LMP1 cars, I think. As we have a little look, let's put it in cockpit view. Let's have a little look behind us in the mirror and the screen. No one behind us yet, so TY still ticking off the laps. As we look to the outside then, TY goes through, and then we've got Neil Farmack there in 10th position. He's not doing too bad here. He's got Stevie 7 seconds behind him. We'll have to keep an eye on how that gap goes down, because obviously Stevie's had a lot more pace compared to Neil, and Neil just getting a bit bored there, just throwing some cones all over the place for the marshals to run and pick up later on. So thanks a lot, Neil. Thanks for that. As a marshal, I know what it's like to run out onto the track and pick stuff up, so much appreciated you to keep us doing some work. But the marshals are one of the key points in motor racing. I'm a big supporter of the marshals, as Stevie almost gets hit by one of the LMP cars there. I think that was blatantly giving him a bit of a rough time, but luckily not much to go wrong there. As we go on to lap 18, lap 18. So get the numbers right. Neil ahead. Let's have a little look at Neil. There he is in the Corvette, and then TY. Oh, TY's gone back down to 10th. So Neil goes up to second in class. TY's gone backwards here. So we'll get a replay on what happened to TY. Okay, here's a replay then of what happened to TY. So going around here, we've got Footman closing up in the LMP1 in the lead. Then we've got going around here. TY goes out the corner onto the curb and then puts the power on. The car snaps one way, bang, and then roll. Then lands on its wheels, fortunately, as Footman then goes off again up front. And TY's trying to recover here. There he is recovering. There's Footman recovering as well, and that's how Neil got through. There he is approaching Dunlop with the brakes on. So as you come back from that, TY back down to 10th place then. So not good there for TY, as Footman comes up to the back of Neil Farmack to lap him now. So a bit more action picking up in this race now, which is good, as Footman goes past Neil Farmack and off into the more of a lead. He's got 36 seconds over Growly Bear in second place in LMP1 and overall. So Footman definitely showing that he's got definite championship material in this one for the overall championship, and obviously his individual division. Into the last corner then, watching Neil Farmack. TY in third place in class in the GTE, and then we've got Stevie there in 11th, which is fourth place in class. Almost gets hit by Blakeney again, so got to be careful there as Blakeney goes round him. There we go, nicely done. Little flash the lights, say hello, how are you doing? So there's Blakeney then. We'll have a little look at Blake in the LMP1, doing very well here. And I must say, Keith's doing a fantastic job in third place in class. Brilliant showing from Keith, showing his stuff, showing that he can run up with the best of them as well, so well done to Keith. As we look back then at Neil Farmack, who's slowly being caught then by TY. As Stevie goes off there, Stevie's gone off there, so I don't know what happened there, but Stevie's gone off, but I must have just been a little mistake by him, must have just caught the rear end out, so unlucky for Stevie there. As we'll have a little look back at Neil and TY, because they're a bit close, and then they've got LMP1 coming between them now. I'm not sure which one that is. I think that's Bradders. Yes, it is. It's Bradders coming up to lap him. And Neil loses it, and then Bradders hits him. TY runs into the back of him as well, all collecting up there. And then Blakeney gives Neil a little shove as well, and then they all get on with it. So TY takes advantage of it, but that was just Neil making a mistake, and everyone Constantina's up at the same time, as then TY takes the position back. So TY back into second place, and Stevie now catching up to the back of Neil. So this could get interesting. So Stevie closes up to the back of Neil. TY's still got LMP1 cars all over him, like a swarm of wasps. But I think they've all got through now, so TY into second place in class then. as the two LMP1 cars go down the hill. That's Keith, not Keith, so that's Bradders. And another car. As we have a look at the background, we've got a car off in the background, got an LMP1 car off. In the background, I think that was probably Blake, I don't know. So we got Stevie going up the inside of Neil. Oh, bang! Hits him. Neil gets hit by Stevie there, and Stevie just goes right around the outside and goes through. Oh, Stevie's done another push to pass. I wonder if he's going to let him back through, but we'll get a replay on that Toyota that spun and the Stevie Neil incident. So as we come back from them replays then, Stevie goes across the line. Oh, the race is finished. I didn't even realise we were watching that many replays. So Footman wins the race then, so apologies for that. Footman wins the race. Well done to Footman, commanding victory. Growly Bear in second place then. Keith is going to be in third in class from Blake, who's finished already, and then Stacker in fifth, and then Arsadar Blade coming across the line now in sixth. So again, sorry guys, that really caught me out there. As Bradders is disconnected, no, but I think Bradders might have crossed the line actually, so we'll get that double check for you in a bit. As Bidzster's gone across the line because he's already there. So's TY, Stevie, Neil and Callum. So I do apologise for that, ladies and gentlemen, it really did catch me out that. So what we'll do is we'll get some replays on the battles across the line. Okay, let's start off these replays then and try and redeem some of the action that we missed. So I do apologise for that. But here's Footman coming towards the line as he just laps Bidzster. So again, the two winners in the classes just passing each other as they come to the line. So Footman wins the overall race. Well done to Footman. He wins. And then Bidzster wins the GTE class. So well done to Bidzster in the background there as well. So both winners crossing the line almost at the same time. Okay, let's have a look at what happened on the last lap then with Blakeney. So going down towards the Dunlop hairpin. See Neil loses it, Bradders hits him. TY has nowhere to go as well, and we slow down, trying to avoid it all, and Neil comes back on to give a little friendly tap there, but it's no harm done, and then we all get on with it. Okay, here's a replay of the LMP1 car that spun behind Stevie and Neil, and it was Stacker. Just gets sucked in on the gravel onto the grass, and then bang, into the wall, spins on the last lap, but still maintains the 5th place. And now let's have a look at the Stevie Neil incident into the last chicane on the last lap. So breaking into the chicane, Stevie goes for the inside, but Neil goes a bit wide. Stevie then hits him there, and then actually gets on with it and doesn't even let Neil back through after hitting him wide. Okay, let's get another angle on that now from the rotating camera on Neil's car. So going into the chicane, watch Stevie, bang, there, hits him wide. Neil can't go do anything, and then Stevie just goes bye-bye into the distance and push to pass. So as we come back from that then, we're just waiting for Callum to cross the line. It was a bit further back in the Ford GT, so I do apologise for missing the flag there, but that's what happened. So we'll get those results confirmed for you now, guys. Okay guys, here's the results from that one then. So Footman takes a commanding victory in that one. Well done to Footman. He extends his lead in the championship. So Growley in second place, Keith finishes in third, Blakeney in fourth, we just turn over the page, Stacker in fifth, and then Arzadar finishes in sixth. Bidzster wins the GTE battle then, so Bidzster wins GTE from TY in second position. Then it was Stevie in third, but he gets a 10-second time penalty for the incident with Neil, and he goes behind Neil. So it's Neil third in class, and then Stevie fourth in class for the GTE, and then Callum rounds off the 11. The only one that's not in that group there is Bradders. He actually gets 7th place, so all the GT cars move down one in the points. Okay guys, here's the points situation after that end. So it's Footman in the lead then on 198, so he's 10 points ahead of Bidzster in second place. Big gap to Growly Bear in third, 1 point in front of Neil Farmack. Then it's Callum in 5th position on 123. And then in the teams championships, Bidzster and Stacker still in the lead of that on 298. Then it's Stevie and Footman on 276, with Callum and Growly Bear on 262. So quite close in the teams championship on that one, guys. So as we come back from those results then, guys, Bidzster takes the win in the GTE class. I know we didn't see him cross the line, but there he is. Bidzster wins the GTE class, so another good set of points for him. But then Footman wins overall, another dominating race there for Footman, as we'll just get the car into shot there. There he is, Footman. Well done to him, and he extends his championship lead. So as we go into the next round, which is Austin, Circuit of the Americas. So we'll see you guys for that one. Take care, guys.